You know, I always say I'm going to replay something, and I never replay it.
I know.
You know, I have a problem with that.
You tease.
I tease. I tease because I love women. All right, here we go. We always start out with a couple of phone calls, Robin. Gets me sort of going. Gets my juices flowing.
You have to know they're there.
Yeah, it's good to know that the people are there. Dallas, Texas, you're on the air.
Good morning, Howard.
Robin, you keep track of who I've gotten to.
This is Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir. Good morning, King of all media.
All right, what can I do for you?
Yes, sir. I would just like to know. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning.
I would just like to know, Howard, how can us average people out here in Dallas, Texas, help you more in our efforts to bring you here by making you number one and kick the non-competition's ass?
Well, according to my people in Dallas, they tell me that we really don't even have competitors.
You really don't.
The only ones who compete with us, even for the. By the way, the Los Angeles ratings came out yesterday. We went up even further, and Mark and Brian sunk even lower. In New York, we are still number one. It was a little dip, but we're still number one. But, that goes up and down, up and down. You can't get too crazy about it. But I'm predicting big ratings here in New York for next month because it's impossible not to.
Things are looking good.
Well, I was in the newspaper every day. I mean,
well, how could they go down?
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way they go down. So I'm expecting a very big ratings period. I'm expecting a big ratings period in Dallas, and I'll tell you why. There really is nothing else on the radio. The only thing I can figure out is if we're not successful, that they will take us off the air.
Well, see, you have, I'm sorry, Robin, but you have a competitor by the name of Bo Roberts here that is an inflated jackass that thinks he's funny, and he's been doing shticks lately and trying to be more like you, and that's what somebody told me, and that really does bother me.
Well, listen, these guys all, they don't know what to do when we come to town. Some of them start behaving like us, what they think is us, and they always sound like jerks, because whenever you try to rip off someone's personality, you sound like a jerk.
I know, and
some of them clam up and play music as a countermeasure. There's all different ways of dealing with us. But look, the only thing that you can do is if you listen to us, admit it.
And the bottom line is all of those tactics to deal with us, none of them work.
No.
Oh, absolutely not. But there was, and the guy yesterday that called in from Dallas that you couldn't hear, I think I know who that was, because he drives around taking an informal poll, it seems to me it would be, with Honk if you love Howard Stern.
No, none of that stuff is meaningful. The only thing that's meaningful is the ratings that come out, because those areas that deliver us the ratings will continue to be with us. So, that makes only common sense, right?
But what about those country stations? You're not I don't care whether they do the same thing we do. I want to be number one.
I just have to believe that in the morning, people don't want to hear country music. Even in Dallas, I got to believe they want to be entertained. The only problem, the only thing I fear in Dallas is that there's a lot of, sort of like a weird mentality there, or at least in my mind, I think there's a weird mentality of people who will listen and not admit it.
Now, the demographics here, of course, I've heard you comment on this, that and it does strike me.
All right, thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I'd already answered the guy's question. I don't know how much more he wanted from me. I mean, the demographics. It's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough.
The one thing I
told him the one thing he could do is
admit he listens.
Admit he listens. That's all he's got to do, and then we're all set, because we will continue to be on in Dallas, and we will even come to Dallas when we're number one and have that big parade with the open limousine right down the route that Kennedy took. It's going to be wild. And we're gonna have Jackie's going to be out on the grassy knoll with the picnic, or the whole picnic crowd. And Fred will be conducting that book depository run.
Oh, boy.
Where we're going to climb up and down the stairs and see who wins. And there's a whole bunch of activities planned.
It'll be a whole day of festivities.
We even have a brain-catching contest that's going to happen.
Now, how do you conduct that?
All right. We have an open limousine, and then we spill brains all over the back of the car, and in a pillbox hat, the women try to catch the brains.
Where do you get the brains?
Oh, we get like pig's brains or something, And Gary's going to film the whole thing in 8mm, like the Sabruta film. It's going to be wild. We all get nuts on this thing. It's going to be wild. So, Dallas, I'm looking forward to being number one. The only thing that, as I say, there's such a... there's a huge market there for country music.
Yes.
And the top 5 stations in the morning, I think 4 of them are country stations.
I was watching TNN. I'm trying to understand this whole thing.
The Nashville Network.
Yes. and they now have a dance show.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I sent away for tickets.
Your parents should be
Is it
on that show.
Is it square dancing?
Well, they just two-step around the place,
Yeah.
you know, everybody, and they twirl their girls all around the floor.
It's like a time warp because you got to figure.
Everybody's wearing those gingham outfits, you know, the big checks and all that.
And you know, you got to figure on something like that. That now the majority of like people in our parents' age group are dying off.
Right.
These must be young people.
Yeah,
doing
they're
this.
people our age and younger.
I thought for sure when I remember like during Woodstock, I was I think I was 14 years old or something. And I missed being there by 1 year because I would have been upstate. I was traveling out west. I was in a summer camp program. And I said to myself, though, by the time we become adults, this is going to be the hippest country in the world because we're all just going to, like, all the stupid-ass stuff is going to stop. And it's just going to be like the hippest. But everyone I see who grew up is just like my parents.
Yep. Trying hard.
Actually, worse than my parents. My parents were actually pretty cool about some things. Like, they used to let me have Playboy when I was 13. And, you know, I mean, they weren't hung up on pornography or the naked body or anything like that.
But I told you about my friends who were like some of the wildest people I knew who won't let their kids watch MTV.
Yeah. And how old are their kids?
12, 13.
Really? I mean, we were all kids once. We know that stuff doesn't affect us.
Sure. That's, you know, the same mentality that says you can't listen to Elvis or the Beatles.
What is it, Bob?
No, I was going to talk about Robin saw that show. The one I saw, which I think is the same one. You know that stupid "Achy Breaky Heart" song?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, you know how that turned into like almost a dance/exercise thing.
Yeah.
So everybody lines up in these big rows, like 20 across and 20 deep.
Yeah.
And they all wear the same exact outfits.
Right.
And they all dance, and this goes on for like a half an hour. You watch everybody dance.
The Achy Breaky Heart.
The Achy Breaky dance.
Yeah. Doggy, achy breaky dance. Yeah.
It's really, really stupid.
Hey, you do the achy breaky dance with your wife when you got the achy breaky balls. And I'm going to go around and down. Okay, everybody. Achy breaky now. Yeah, doggy. I'm your host, Jimmy Joe Bob. The achy breaky.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was on my TV. I said, where is this?
Even that guy who sings the achy breaky is like, he looks like an overgrown Chippendales dancer.
Amen.
Amen is right. Achy breaky, I'm so flaky. Okay, here we go now. Everybody here. Achy breaky, I'm so flaky. Everyone to do-si-do, turn around. Now come around after achy breaky balls. Okay, go down.
And the sad part is, you know, there's that one little part
it.
in the achy breaky dance where you just wiggle your butt around.
Yes.
And they're guys that wiggling their butts.
Yeah.
But all the guys are
You
wearing.
don't want to see me doing that.
All the guys are wearing the same outfit, which is like jeans and this like goofy-looking cowboy shirt and the hat.
Yeah.
But some of the guys have these giant bellies.
Yeah.
I mean, giant bellies, and they're in there like trying to move around and do turns and stuff.
Yeah, we got to
Right,
learn that.
yeah.
We got to learn achy breaky, and we got to get on TV somewhere and do it.
And the girls have those skirts that
Right.
flare out.
Yeah. Come on, everybody, up for the achy breaky now and the achy breaky ball show. Okay, here we go now. Do-si-do, honor your partner, act like a moron, do-si-do again, wear a stupid hat and say, yeehaw! Now you're going to step in some bull dung. All right, good. Achy breaky ball show, and I'll see you later.
I love that, the achy breaky ball show.
Yeah. Welcome to the achy breaky ball. That's where everyone stands around and dances. All right. This is the greatest ball of all century. With a woman and a man. All right, thank you from the Achy Breaky Ball Show. Okay, good. Okay, everybody liked the Achy Breaky
And
Ball
then,
Show.
did you see the...
Even Tom. All right.
Did you see the latest brouhaha, the latest flap in the country community?
What is that?
Is that they started this countdown show, sort of like a what was that show called with Dionne Warwick a few years ago?
Solid Gold.
Right. They started a country countdown show like Solid Gold.
Right.
And they had their own dancers.
Oh, yeah, and they were too sexy.
Right. Everybody was screaming those women should put some clothes on.
Yeah.
And we don't want that here. We used to watch country music because it was a family thing.
Well,
Such jerks.
The whole thing now is there's that guy Garth Brooks and what's it, Billy Ray Cyrus?
Yeah.
there are people that love them and think they're good for country, and then there's the country people who think that they're bad for
because
country
they're too
music.
modern.
Oh, that's right. You know that Garth Brooks is using rock lyrics.
Right. And Billy Ray Cyrus, I saw one quote where a guy said, Billy Ray Cyrus is turning country music into an ass-wiggling contest.
Oh.
And it's, you know, it's
Yeah, God forbid. It's so sick. But they all love Elvis, who was like the original guy who used to wiggle his ass and his hips. By the way, Boy Gary and I had a big fight on the air yesterday.
Yes, you did.
But I figured it out with you. I
What's
thought
that?
about it last night. You used to let things like sort of roll off you when we were talking and stuff
Is
on the air.
this going to be one of those? Wait a second, may I? Is this going to be one of those you've changed since you've gotten married raps?
Not changed, but I think your wife... I don't know what happens. I would love to be a fly on the wall, but I think your wife is very caught up in being Mrs. Delabate.
She hardly hears any of this, so it's not like I go home.
No,
and
but
she
maybe
says,
you're embarrassed now that you're married, and you should sort of be treated with more respect or something.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I was thinking about this last night. I was hoping this would come up.
And your wife is very into this Mrs. Delabate thing.
Yes.
My husband's Gary Delabate from the radio program.
She often calls restaurants to get the best tables, dropping my name.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, actually.
Yeah, right.
Not restaurants, but I've heard some stories.
Oh.
I've heard some things. Go ahead. Okay.
They've all been in your head. But
Robin, haven't I heard some things?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right. Yes, you do. But go ahead.
I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Now, we get on everyone always says when you and Howard argue on the air, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes I feel that that you get angry at me to get me going because I'm too stupid to figure out that you're pushing my buttons.
Right.
But yesterday...
I was mad at you.
You had this fire in your eye, and I really backed down. You scared me. Were you really mad?
Yes, and not only did I have fire in my eye, you could see through my dark glasses, which is even scarier. Imagine if I'd taken off my glasses.
You would have burned him.
That's right.
You had a crazy look yesterday.
I had the achy, breaky teeth. Well, because you weren't getting it. Sometimes I have to...
No, that wasn't it. It wasn't that I wasn't getting it. I think it was the part where if I can apologize, the part where I said shut up.
Yeah, well, because...
You just lost it.
Yeah, because the point is to tell me to shut up. I'm your boss. And I'm always right.
Right, but we're doing humor, boss.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
It's a sketch, just a joke.
All right, but anyway, I was mad at you yesterday. Yes, legitimately mad at you. I don't even know why I was mad at you.
You know, it was funny. John told me that right after...
Yeah.
right after you threw Gary out.
Yeah.
He got on the phone, was it, and called John and said, "You're going downstairs right now. I don't want to hear it."
No. I called John and I said, "You go down during the next spot." And he goes, "Ooh, I don't know when the next spot is." And I go, "Why not?" And he goes, "I don't have a log back here." And I said, "Then get one." And I hung up the phone.
Now you're talking. Now you're an executive.
Oh, yeah. John says, "Man, I hate it when Howard yells at Gary because it always rolls right downhill."
John has to wake up.
And then he yells at Grilla.
Yeah. 6:25. Let me take a break. I'll get to some more phone calls. Do I have to take a break or can I take another phone call, Fred?